Good morning. Failing to, where are we at here? There's no fight with my headset. For what that's worth. Get some music rolling here. Try to get my dashboard up real quick. Get this one together. Suppose I can have something on camera here. Okay, I think we're rolling. We're just going through, picking out details to get these guys much closer to completed. To do so, we're basically filling in the verdigris, trimming the shoulders, detailing the lenses, and lacking in these gaskets and where they may be in the arm. The final step will be going through and cleaning things up, where I oversprayed on the shoulders, where I maybe covered up the armor around these gaskets to some degree. Things of that nature. Making some pretty good progress so far. I was running a little bit behind schedule with getting my fire together this morning to get the stream started, so let me push this press down now. Wow. Oh, alarm. Give me just a moment. Sorry about that. Little absent-mindedness in the morning. We got Tiz says, "What will you be working on today?" Good morning. I suppose I should check the name on the stream here. I think I didn't change it from last night. Let's edit the info here. Go Friday morning. Today we're working on the Space Marines. We're trying to wrap up a few. Last evening, countdown. Last night we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 Space Marines officially are ready to have their weapons dry brushed, and then they're good to get sealed, and then their line work done. So that feels pretty good. Quite confidently making some progress. And today, if we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10, maybe more. Let's see. See what kind of progress we can make. Tiz says they've been looking real good. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is what we're doing to the weapons. They'll just get a little, like a light dry brushing to pick out their details. And then I'll manually come through. And for example, back here, I'll paint like this edge, possibly come down this side of the where the magazine goes in. And maybe even give like a little marking along this corner here. Things like that. The edge of the scope, like just give it a little something, and that'll also give me an opportunity to like recognize that his fingers here need covered up. Will be like that one last touch up before they get varnished. But yeah, I've been pretty happy with them so far, in truth. I gotta grab one thing. Maybe I can reach it. Make sure I can reach my black paint. Wow. How have you been, Tiz? Water in me here. Try to get this boat in the proverbial water here. At this stage, we're just going through and picking out like right here in this corner of the joint of his leg where I maybe missed. Making sure that that hasn't happened anywhere else of importance. See the same thing on this leg here where we were in a hurry. Otherwise, looking pretty good. Just these little once-overs. Let's have a peek here. Try to keep this brush on hand to clean up mistakes like that. Let's see. I'm just kind of trying to color within the lines, which, depending on my lack of sleep here, could prove to be more difficult than it actually is. Let's have a look here on this leg. Sometimes with these little gaskets, these tighter areas, you just gotta push the paint down in a little haphazardly, then come through with your clean brush, kinda tidy up. Having a little brush on hand like that is sometimes all it takes to be brave enough to go into some areas. Just know you're going to make a mistake, but be equipped to correct it before it's an issue. And all of those will need covered again. Just the nature of it. We're going to tidy it up over here as well. Let's see. Good. Now his lenses. We have here. And we'll try to tidy up the gun as well. Let's see. Hope everybody had a good week. I mean, with New Year and everything else coming up. I know it can be a little hectic, but it's because it's an opportunity to go into the weekend. Glorious Badger, thank you so much for the host. To go into the weekend with, I don't know, put the rest of the holidays behind us and start settling into the new year. Happy New Year, dude. Happy New Year to you as well, sir. I feel like I put on 20 pounds here over the holidays. Most of that with a lot of inactivity. I was under the weather for a couple weeks and sprained my ankle a couple weeks prior to that. But I've already started getting it back in order. Too many cookies. Too much time on the couch. In some respects, it's been a good thing. The weight gain has been the other side of it. Let's see about the bottom end of this. Of course, Badger with the laughing emote. How dare you? This is just that quick second coat. Make sure we have good coverage. And then let's make sure we get that cover back in there. But so I definitely put something on. It's cold and insulation is required. There you go. It is getting cold, man. I'll tell you that. I've never sprained an ankle before. It was like nothing else. I put myself through some abuse before it. It was bad. It hurt so much. Took away so much of my mobility. Ooh, that is still very hot. It almost caused like a depression-like feeling in me. It was bad, man. You know, you get it in your head that you've got a timeline of getting better, and when you're not meeting that timeline and push yourself, hurt yourself worse, it was not my best moment. What do you think? I say we start on these vents here. I always like this area. Maybe, what do you think, Badger? Left or right should we go heavy? You think about it. Left it is. Just go a little crazy over there. After painting so many of these, I find I just have to do something to keep it different. Sometimes I've just been overloading a given side. Depends. Let's go right here as well. Okay. We'll start over here where I didn't put down like globules of paint that need to dry. Aaron J. Bang. Well, look out, everybody. We got a big old raid party of 9 coming in here. For those of you that didn't come over with Aaron, Aaron is a fellow streamer, obviously. Incredible painter. And an all-around good dude. How was your stream, sir? We got Tenjin Gabe? What two pop? How in the world? We're going to go with 10 because I cannot enunciate. We got Excel 809 in here. Nurgle's Garden expands. What is that? What's going on? I was up quite a bit later than I wanted to be last night. But we're still up. We're still painting. We made commitments. To all of you. Aaron says we are cuter than the average bear, I've heard. Hey, Glorious Badger, how are you? Yeah, good deal. OB Ross says I came in off the funky stream. 10's fine. Cool. That's convenient because I don't know if my brain can comprehend other things right now. I feel like I'm doing good to keep it in the lines here. It's a good thing we're painting something sloppily over top of everything here. I hope you all had a good... Excuse me. I hope you all had a good stream, and hopefully I can keep you reasonable company at this point. We're just wrapping up some details on these Marines, picking out little things that need to be adjusted prior to them getting sealed and then getting their dark lining done. Glorious Badger says it, Aaron. All groovy here, inhaling the coffee right now. Badger, my coffee is roughly the heat of the surface of the sun. It's keeping me away. But it will be mine soon enough. Soon enough, I tell you. This camo green, I watered down quite a bit more than the consistency of the paint I normally use. I want it to have a little bit of opacity to it. I feel like it's a good thing to let a little bit of this blue shine through. I think they're a good color combo. All these little details that we're missing here. Badger says, oh, wait a second, we're missing something. Get my brush. Aaron J. Bang says, we keep the funk rolling. Streamed a digital Plant album. Got the base colors and washes done on the emulator. And even played a small 1,000-point game of 40K this afternoon. Gotta love it. You do gotta love it. Really productive over there. Badger says, sounds ideal. Oh, nice. What armies were played? That is a good question, Badger. Aaron says, I played my new Raging Heroes Sisters of Battle. Those sisters do look so cool. And my opponent brought 1,000 Suns. Ooh. I've always loved the traditional color scheme to the 1,000 Suns. Actually, all the classic Chaos armies are really well thought out in terms of color. Let's see here. I think maybe that looks good. Maybe a little bit tacky over here. Maybe just a little. Badger says, ooh, I'm tempted to get the 1,000 Suns some year. Aaron says, needless to say, the Emperor's light burned the heretics and traitors to glorious ash and dust. Tabled in the 5th. Praise be. That's good. I have been toying more and more with the idea of actually getting back into 40K as I sit here and paint these Space Marines. And the only thing, you know, when I played originally, I was an Orc player, like way back in the day. We're talking 2002, 2003. I played them longer than that, but that's when I started. For a couple of years. And then after I had my horde together, the Orcs were no good, but we had a pretty good playtest crew, and I was able to win a few events, win some prize support, and assemble another army. And I built some chaos, assembled some chaos, I should say. And I built like this Nurgle Slaanesh hybrid army. When the edition change occurred and Lash of Submission became a thing, and that was actually powerful. That was something special. And off that prize support, I built a small Tau detachment. And I think, playstyle wise, I enjoyed playing the Tau the most. Not that I didn't enjoy winning with the Chaos, but I like the point and click nature of the Tau. And I played a marker light heavy Tau army back then, and not that that was the best way to play them, but it was fun, reasonably good. Imperator. Badger says the last game of 40K I played was in Pittsburgh in 2000. Now, Badger, was that at the Phantom of the Attic? Or were you playing in the city? And were you involved in with the Pittsburgh Iron Legion? I don't even know if they're still around. That was back in the day. It says that's 20 years ago now. Yes, Badger walks in and says Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Ben Kenobi. I haven't been called by that name in many years. Like hitting him with the lines. Here I'm just stippling in the highlights. And one thing that you probably know about brighter colors, they tend to be a little more transparent when you first put them in. They don't have their full opacity until you give them a couple of layers. And one thing that the stippling does is gives you a varied degree of intensity. So if you were to do some hard streaking, your streaks won't turn out with the same opacity across the full plate, because they'll be brighter where you've stippled in the past. And so for me, that second pass of either stipples and streaks really sell it. Badger says, played against a friend on the north side, and I did visit Phantom of the Attic a lot, though. Yeah, if you're near it, that was the spot. They're pretty rude in there to a couple of my friends, which caused me to stop going, but other than that, the Attic always had like good product, especially back in the day when you had to, like, if you wanted something you had to travel to where it was, especially when it came to G-Dub products. Try to pick out some of these details along the edges here. I think that's looking pretty good with these little markers here as well. I think, yeah, did a pretty good job on really working in that one side there. Oops. Let's see if the coffee's ready here. Yeah, that's right where you want it to be. All right, Badger, you ready for some lenses? Aaron says 8th is so good it harkens back to the golden age of 3rd edition when you were playing, Badger. I haven't been to Pittsburgh since my cousin got married back in 2012, but I'll make it back there sometime, probably sooner than later. We're going to be around New York City this summer, I think. Well, that's cool. Be good to have you on the East Coast there, Aaron. Lenses and eyes are the devil. And I said that up front. Oh, Lord have mercy. Jan, when you come in with a rating party of 37, and I'm getting ready to paint a lens, okay? Y'all gotta get me excited. Right now I'm trying to be steady. How's everybody doing? Give you all a second to get in here. See if I can't get too excited and fail to paint some lenses. Let's just do it. For those of you that aren't familiar, ancient trick here. Paint it in 2 goes. Did my paint we've done talk too much? And the paint started to dry. Paint your eyes and lenses in 2 brush strokes instead of trying to do it in 1. That's 1. I hope you all are having a wonderful morning. I'm sure Jan has kept you in excellent company. Let's see here. What? Lord have mercy. Oh, Jan, I was mentioning this to Mike Disney yesterday. It's looking much more likely that I'll be able to make it to Adepticon. I don't remember if actually we got Aaron and Badger in here, but if anybody else is going, there's a greater chance that I'll be able to make it this year. We have here. Hi, I'm drawing. You can look. Can somebody? What do we have here? Created 2015. I'm drawing. Can you look at it and please advise? And then you give a YouTube link? What is that? You have to give me a moment on that link. YouTube isn't like that. Don't click that. Yeah, I don't know what that is. We gotta, but it's made in 2015. Is that any blocked? Let me put him in a timeout. You're going to timeout for a second. Give me a second to. We had a moderator in here? Okay. That's a robot. Okay. Well, there we have it. Where were we? We were painting lenses. We were talking about Adepticon. Yeah, it looked legit. It was from 2015, a drawing video. What happened? Give me just a moment. There's been some early morning. See, this is why you need to do process. Orcrist, good morning. Could be the bait. If you want to link that again once your timeout period, I'd be happy to have a look. Aaron says, if they are new to drawing, why is the video 5 years old? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. I'm going to try and tidy up this lens. Okay. Get out of here. Anyhow, Jan, what were you working on today? Get all the Happy New Year's. Tidy up the armor at some point. A couple details, and then he's going in the get ready for dry brush on the gun. We're just trying to get these final details to a point where he can be ready to be gamed with. Yeah, there we go. Let's have a peek here. Excuse me. This cold is just lingering on me here. Kind of dig. Oh, we gotta tidy some things up. We got Eisenheim Gaming in the room here. Good morning, sir. How are you now? And it says, anywho, me tired. I'm going to head out and hit the sack, I think, Dematic. You guys have a great day and a happy new year to all my favorite turds. We got Excel809 getting a shout out along with Genuine, the Badger, and the least of which, me. Well, yeah, Aaron, you get some rest. Sounds like you had a busy day. Super productive. You inspire me to do more. All right. How do we get in here? Bear with. See if we can get just a little bit of glow going. There we are. That's right, I use Loctite. What of it? What was the other one that was loose? Oh, he's loose here at the elbow. Okay. Oh boy. Let's get this on here. Losing a fight. That's how that goes. Now, why is he not settling in here? Bear with a moment. Gallowfire, good morning. Glorious Badger says to Aaron, have a good rest. I'll have to check out the VOD for the poor Thousand Sons. Well, they shouldn't have been heretics, Badger. Hey there, Gallo. Oh, we got a follow by Lady B. Thank you so much, Lady B. Gallowfire saying, all good, working and lurking. That'll be my boat here later on this morning. We're just crossing the 6 a.m. hour here. I think we're tidied up enough to not be an issue. Rainer72. There's a name we all know and recognize. Good morning. How are you? Lady B says, how am I not following you? That's a really good question. Last night, somebody that I'm friends with on Twitch had to follow me, so you never know. We got DJ Delete. We got Doc Holiday coming in with a party of 4. Look out, everybody. If all of you aren't familiar with Doc Holiday, Doc is a good streamer. He streams games. He's a good dude. Lady B says, hey, Glorious Badger, did you survive Witcher 3 on New Year's Eve? Let's see here. I figure since we got some people, we'll start here with some verdigris. Well, good morning, Doc. What brings you in today? some good streaking on these backpacks here. Of course, Badger says, the Lady B, I had to force myself through that game. Yes, I just about survived. Rainer says, I'm doing all right. We'll be up in a few hours. Oh, sorry, I missed Lady B asking you about the little one. That's on me. Enjoy your few hours of quiet. Doc says, still playing the same game from when we last talked. Doc is playing a game with like these like villainous slasher film bad guys where part of your party is like trying to survive, but like one of you in the queue is playing like Mike Myers or something like that. He could explain it better than me. Seems super spooky. Where else should we have some of this? Something there. This backpack is going to put me into an early grave. This thing's enormous. Lord have mercy. That Mr. Shy. Oh boy. We got all kinds of names in here today. Just didn't hear clearly giving the kids what they want. Where are we? Shy says, hello, young man. How's it been? It's been all right. You know, hectic as anything else during the holiday, but... out here where you guys are keeping one another company. Shy says, you paint shake brings all the shies to the yard. There it is. Did you have a good Christmas and New Year, Chris? I surely did. You know, family's occasionally a bittersweet thing when you get extended with it, but it's always good to catch up. Weather here over New Year Eve was quite gnarly. Let's see what we have here. I love this desaturated green. Shy says, Shirley did. I didn't ask about Shirley. Badger says, the Shy all groovy here. Thanks, dude. Just waking up. And Shy says, I've been having a run at waking up for about 5 hours now, and it's not going well. I have a, what is a Lucozade? I'm not afraid to use it. What is this word? Is that a brand? is a glucose-based isotonic energy drink. Basically, all the energy and electrolytes. You know what I think is important to do when you enjoy a clearly poisonous beverage such as that would be to put on a heart rate monitor and see if you can redline that thing. Backpack. They're too big. There we go. I'm just picking these details here, little by little. Shy says, oh, it's not like a Monster or Red Bull, like it has a lot of calories, but it's cleaner energy than big can energy drinks. Well, as long as it's not coal energy, I think we'll all be okay. This is clean energy. It's a greener energy, so to speak. I imagine the can is recyclable. I think we'll all be all right. Here we're just going to apply like a second coat in a stippling nature. Cause the green to become a little bit more vibrant, but still let that desaturated tone rest across much of it. Shy says, like one bottle is 65% of your daily sugar, but it's basically just fizzy sugar water. Shy, I don't know, what is a daily dose of sugar? Is it 25 grams? I think it's 25 grams. How much sugar is in one of these little fizzy bottles of deliciousness? Should I do some quick math and list me just whatever 65% of that number is? Or just dabble this beautiful color on here. Just gradually allow it to build itself up. Shy says, nah, for the average adult male, your daily sugars are like 90. No, they're not. A daily dose of something and your average consumption are two very different things. Sugar is the most efficient way to burn energy, remember. No, it is not. That's why you want your energy to be something that breaks down into sugar, right? Like, if you think about why carbohydrates are like rocket fuel for you, it's because carbohydrates break down into glucose, and that's what gives you the most efficient way of energy. It's not granulated sugar. Shai says in America they have a whole narrative of sugar being the enemy because most of the sugar you take there is high fructose corn syrup, which is really bad for you in lots of other ways. No, they're both bad for you. Processed refined sugar is absolutely the devil. There's no narrative that's unique to America. Start with this side. Little by little, I think. Get these details to show. This paint is a little bit. We're gonna need a little bit of water, I think. Paint's got a little tacky overnight. Yeah, that looks good. Or it'll be way too runny. Either way. Badger says oats. Oats are delicious. But yeah, your body breaks them down into rocket fuel. And the thing is, if you're not active, you got a problem. Oats are delicious, though. What happened to Shy? Is he out there doing goblin research right now? Feverish Gobo research. My backpack just took basically the whole morning. Hixie666. We're gonna go with Hixie. Happy New Year. Just wondering what your thoughts of going over the blue with the green to get the oxidation effect and not just going for a more desaturated light blue. Just after looking at a number of photos of heavy oxidation, mostly my resources were all chemical related to get this kind of wear. And so when you look at something heavy, so for example, I didn't do anything on this leg yet, so let's just try to do something like this. So here, this is just a cobalt blue. I'll just do this along this edge, possibly pull a little over there, and maybe we'll catch a little bit in this little recess here. That could look nice. So I use this to lay down my base tone, and then I come over it with a camo green. It's like a darker version of like a verdigris. This is another color that can occur in nature. This green is much more common than the blue. The blue is like super not natural to Earth to get this kind of wear to happen. Irish Leprechaun. Well, thank you so much for the follow. But I figured these are super space boys, and a little bit of that blue, maybe they're on some super caustic planet. Maybe maybe the Tyranids have developed some kind of super spray that they're peeing all over them and is eating away at their paint. And so I cover most of that up, and I water this green down a little bit so that it doesn't have full opacity. We get a little bit of that blue shining through. And then I use a pale green, which is just like a teal and what's the other color I mix into that? It's like a massive amount of teal in it. I stipple that on top. But the Irish Leprechaun says, now this is the art I was looking for. Well, thank you. Welcome. And what I do with the pale green, we just stipple it on top. I like the way it looks. This is not by any stretch the only way to do that. And I know it's more work than just layering on this pale green, but I do like the end result. Though I know it might not be for everybody. If you let it dry just a little, and you give it a little more stipples, because this color is so pale, it tends to become more vibrant when it's painted over itself compared to those darker blue and sort of dark green tones that are underneath. And to be fair, verdigris grows kind of like a mold. It'll streak because it goes with the water, but we want it to kind of stipple like mold, but also streak down. Okay. Shy was doing some feverish goblin research. Give me a moment to lubricate. Hixie says, looks great, just haven't seen anyone do it this way before. Yeah, I wanted to do something different, and I tried to go for a little bit of a technical application, even if it is otherworldly. Yes, Shy says, and yes, I will read that. Just give me a moment, Shy. I would have done the same thing before I launched off. So, that Mr. Shy says, for those of you just joining us, we were talking about America's war on sugar, and Shy's, well, we're going to see his feelings on that. Shy says, so under British food laws, companies here have to state the percentage of fat, saturates, sugars, and sodium present in food versus the recommended daily allowance as published by the National Research Council. So, forgive me, but my 90 grams is not incorrect. It is what is nationally recommended here in order to meet the caloric and nutritional requirements for your average adult male Brit. Why do you need 90 grams of sugar, period, in any day? Doc says the hoses for that are going to be metal colored, correct or not? I actually haven't settled on that yet, Doc. I know that I don't want them to be black. I don't know if I'm going to pick a color. I don't truthfully know. I may do one of them just like copper. Like a straight metallic copper color. But I don't have an answer to that question, and I may poll. Shy says, I don't bloody know. I'm not a nutritionist. That's obvious to me. You say that 90 grams is not incorrect. It is nationally recommended. It should be nationally recommended to cut that out of your diet. He's telling me that you were not wrong. Okay, cool. You guys don't have anything about not consuming sugar in your day. If I was to give nutritional advice to anybody, it would be, you've got to eat a diet that is healthy and maintainable for you. Also, over the course of the entirety of your life, you should probably consume as little sugar as possible. That Mr. Shy says they design recommended daily allowances to provide nutritional stability for 97 to 98% of adults. I find that curious. Because no adult is the same. Also, we live in a caloric surplus. It's the only time in the history of our evolution that you don't have to worry about where you're going to get enough calories to survive. So your recommended daily intake should be based on your daily output of energy. That's that. Doc says, I don't know if I agree there's a war on sugar here. The general consensus seems to be people misinformed that all fats for you are bad and that sugar is dumped into almost everything here. Well, it is. Sugar is the devil's work. Then Mr. Shy says, my advice would be to eat what makes you happy, and you can die in a heartbeat even from doing, yeah. Hey, Shy, also, if people don't know, Shy is a brilliant cook. Former chef? Are you once a chef, always a chef? Shy knows his business when it comes to the kitchen. Everything is poison. We got Zombie Dance Team Leader. Okay, well, you got a rank in the name. Says, I'll just call it like it is. Sugar is poison. Enough said. Shy says, if you look at the list of what gives you cancer, half the stuff on it also recommended for a long life. Shy says, former chef, sir, but I do still love to cook. I do love to cook as well. We just redid our kitchen. I put in a double oven, which I dig quite a bit. I'm going to tighten up a couple of these gaskets while we're chatting here. Shy says, I know how to make food taste good. I'm terrible at making it healthy. Shy, I'll tell you what makes food taste good. Not being afraid to put enough butter in it. And if people don't agree with me on one thing that I will take to the grave, it is that there's a difference between good butter and whatever most people use. I like me some butter. I was saying earlier in the stream, I sprained my ankle and was inactive for a few weeks, and then holidays and cookies happened, and I'm pretty sure I've put on 20 pounds in the wrongest way possible. But where are we at here? And Mr. Shai says, twice the ovening of a regular oven. Yeah, it's true. Actually, this is the first holiday season that I've had them in place, and it was wonderful to be, like baking in one while preparing a meal in the other. The Irish Leprechaun says, butter! Yeah. I don't know what your egg situation is overseas, or I shouldn't assume that nobody else is overseas. I know Shy absolutely is. But there is a monstrous difference in an egg that was free-ranged when compared to an egg that was factory farmed over here. And butter is not too much different. It's not like you got to free-range the cow, but a healthy living animal produces a much more quality product, even though you can't get as much of it. Zombie Dance Team Leader says, so what did you do? Soak the foot in sugar. LOL, yep. Banging on sugar as we are. Had to. There it is. Sort of sorry, but not really. Irish says, I agree. Big difference. Yeah, if you're not used to like farm fresh things and you crack a free range egg, you're going to be appalled at how orange it is compared to the pale yellow that the factory bleached eggs are. Then Mr. Shy says, you guys sand your eggs there to make them smooth, which is why you have to keep eggs in the fridge in America. Here, most people just leave them out. Yeah, it's true. I live pretty rurally out here in Pennsylvania, and I pass multiple homes that have eggs for sale. And the difference, Shy, also, once you refrigerate an egg, you have to continue to refrigerate it. That's another thing that happens, even with the eggs that they don't sand, or I don't know if they sand them. Do they? They certainly bleach them. You would know. You would be the person in chat I'd ask which was the case, so I'm not trying to correct. I'm just going through my thought process. The Zombie Dance Team Leader, and yes, I'm going to go with the whole thing every time. Feel you for the weight gain with injury, same here, but not too bad. Trying to eat less due to less activity, but so hard when you love food. Yeah, I'd never sprained a limb before, and I'm not going to lie, at this point I can recognize it. I sort of got depressed. Like, I just said, forget it. I wasn't worried about what I was eating. I was just consuming. The diet went off the rails, and so did my mental stability. But we're in a better place now, and we'll get it better. I already started with actually trying to do my exercises again and keep things under control. I've got some bad genetics when it comes to that stuff, so if I don't keep up with it, it will consume me. Zombie Dance Team Leader says, no, just zombie is fine, but you are the Zombie Dance Team Leader. Okay, that's an official rank. It's like a officer on deck. Don't worry, it will get worse when you're older and you start falling apart. Yeah, I'm 33 now, and I can't imagine healing ever gets easier. It was such a dumb thing. Because I'm a child, I still train martial arts, and I was grappling with a guy who was new to the gym. I did a takedown on him that I've done literally dozens of times. Ankle just gave. I mean, that thing's been clicking on me for a while. It's been telling me, hey, I'm hurt, bro. You gotta take care of me. And I just ignored it. and one day it just went pop. Got all twitchy, scared the hell out of me. But no big deal. 3 weeks until I could walk normal, and now another month to sort of get things back to normal with the range of motion. The Zombie Dance team leader says, "You're still young. Hit the 5-0 last summer." Well, it's all just a mind state. Except for that part that's not. Yeah, get that on there. Let's do a little bit to this boot. Oh, I kind of like this ridge here. Let's pack some of this up here. Yeah, both of my uncles had significant health issues at a pretty young age, so when I look at what happened to them, I see it coming, and I try to keep myself in check when it comes to indulgence, so to speak. And Mr. Shy says, "Sorry, mate, I'm going to be AFK a few minutes. Just had 6 effing deliveries turn up at once, so as the lunch rush is about to start, so glad I only have 3 weeks of this job left. Hey, good luck, man. Stay mentally sane." The Zombie Dance team leader says, "Not just a mind state, though. Not years either. It's the mileage." Oh, that's true. Yeah. I joke all the time. My hips are, I'm 33. My hips are 40. It's not like they're that old, but it's definitely, I take as much time, if not more, than some people that are in excess of 40 to get my hips moving and limber enough to do the jiu-jitsu. Which, is what it is, and a good stretching routine is not a bad thing. I should do some yoga or something. I just envy the way people that move like that age, but it's just not in the books. All right. Let's begin with the camo green. Start to make this these little blue patches start to look something like verdigris. Kind of like the way that these tones turn out. Zombie Dance team leader says, "I'm trying something new as well." Kaio. What is that? I'm not familiar. If it's something I need to look up, I can do that. Oh, it's Japanese whiskey. There you go. I've heard some... Is that the one that did impressively well in the taste testing? I know that there was I think it was Japanese that was like crushing the Europeans out of nowhere. We're not even on camera here. What am I doing? I'm so sorry. Zombie Dance Team Leader says, not sure, but it's like in the top 20 last year. So, can't be too bad, huh? I think over New Year's, we finished some Irishman and a 12-year Glenlivet. This is pretty cool. There we are. It was starting to look like something. Just put a little bit more on there. And then going for the showstopper here. Some good coloration going. All right. I find on the flat panes a little bit of stippling goes a long way, preventing little patterns from developing. Make sure we're in focus here. Little dots. 1 million little dots. And then under here, might be able to do some streaking. The music finally reached its limitation here. Let's take a quick peek. That's exactly what happened. Yeah. Oh, look out. Who's this familiar name? XX, I never know how to begin pronouncing your name. Effects? I don't know. I don't know. The Zombie Dance Team Leader says, not bad. Tastes like it's missing something when compared to FX's. FX's. Cool. Tastes like it's missing something when compared to other whiskey, not having a subtle earthiness, and I know what it is, the lack of peat. It doesn't have enough moss in it. We're painting verdigris in here, and we're talking about whiskey. Direction things go. Here we are, here we are. Getting this little bit of stippling. The biggest reason for this is it creates a varied application as opposed to something uniform, and allows the other colors to still be present. If I just painted it super opaque and blotted over, then what was the point of doing the blue or the camo green? But when you allow them to sort of take their own place, oh, you're not even looking, you're looking at a big old gun. That's my fault. Get some nice tonal variation, and it looks like it's layered up, which it is. And I think that's a pretty natural thing to look at. And now we can start to even apply some more of it. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll get a little bit of this down in here. Zombie Dance Team Leader says it's okay. Not sure I'll buy it again at $65. Well, you know, that's sometimes you got to know what a $65 bottle tastes like. It's far easier on the budget than trying something that's a boatload more. But still, for 65, it ought to be pretty good, I would think. That should be the review everybody asks for. They tend to do this. You know, what would you rate it on this and that and the other thing? The rating should actually be, would you get it again? Effexis says, I am drinking my whiskey always with cola, so I'm not familiar with the good. Now, the true test is, will you drink it neat? Try a little bit more up here. Doesn't look too bad at all. Let's see about one of these lenses. And then the other. How about this other one? There we go. I think we got some good coverage there. You know what we should have done is done that earlier so it could dry enough to put the red on it. But live and learn. We'll just blot in some of these gaskets real quick while we wait. I know I should do something with this lens cover here. Just don't know what it should be just yet. DC says, hey Chris and Chad, Happy New Year. Well, Happy New Year back at you. The Zombie Dance team leader says, yeah, got to try something new every now and again. But my go-to, gotta have, that would be Angel's Envy Love, that fruity back end, since it's finished in a port barrel. I think it's important to figure out what you enjoy out of anything, and you should be experimental enough to allow yourself to enjoy it, or to at least experience enough to find what you do enjoy. Okay. Some good coverage here. Effexis says, Happy New Year. Zombie Dance Team Leader says, okay, enough whiskey talk. Probably too early for that anyway. Yeah, 6, I don't know if it's too early to talk about it prior to 7 a.m., but definitely a little too early to partake. The Irish Leprechaun says, Happy New Year. Okay. Let's see if I can paint a lens without messing this up too bad. Discord is blowing up. For those of you interested, this is a link to my Instagram. If you'd like to see some of the other things that I work on, I've got links below as well. Things we normally do. I'm not sitting here just painting a Marine Commission. I don't know what color I want to do that lens. What color was the power level detector in Dragon Ball Z? Was it green? Zombie. DC says, it's happy hour somewhere. There you go. People are always drinking at the airport. DC says, oh, Chris, I saw the dwarf bust you put on Instagram. How's the progress coming along? No progress from the last post. But I can share a little bit of that. Hang on. Let's pick this beast up a little bit. Here he is. Let's make some room for this beardy man. I did make some progress on his leathered hood here. This is just a wet blended sort of hoppage of browns, tones. Oh, I've got something up here. I have to tidy that up. Yeah, we started layering in the leathers for this, and obviously it'll need to be cleaned up. I need a better idea of what I want to do for the hide strapping. Though I'm doing each one of these leathers tonally different from one another, I think I want to have the same stitching throughout. It is a hefty beard. It's like 5.5 inches from like end to end on the bust, and then I don't know, it's like solid resin except for these two little tufts of hair. Those were glued on. Minor assembly required. But I got like a little bit of tonal variation in the skin so far, enough to a lot of mahogany. We'll start to pick things out. I'll get the adornments here based in, button, whatever that little rune looking piece is. I think I want to do this twisted piece and another kind of tone as well. I might even do it in a little bit of a gold. I'm going to certainly do this portion here in something special, because doors are always after something special. I think I'm going to do the bowl horn here in like a pig iron, but then I'll do like the adornments in something special, something gilded, just like this sort of woad design that he has on his I don't even know what this would be called. It seems to be something he's using to harness his braids. Same as down here. Then Mr. Shy says, I love your painting on this so far, Chris, but the sculpt itself really doesn't appeal to me. It looks really clumsy and disproportionate to my eye. Like, it's quality sculpting, but poorly designed for me. It is definitely a rendering style, right? Like, it is for sure a scale all its own, kind of like how chibis have a very specific shape. This guy has like a proportion that's built to be in like a World of Warcraft splash screen. But he's dwarven and he appeals to me. Yeah, I need to back the camera off quite a bit before I go into working on this. This is a George Sukazidis. I know he's worked with a number of streamers. I ordered this from George. I don't have a sponsorship or anything with him. I don't know other people's situations. But it's a phenomenal work. And I know I gotta do the eyebrows. DC says, I'm in love with the detail. That Mr. Shy says, it feels like something that you can make look great in photos, but when you see it as a whole, it stops making sense. me be critical for a moment. I don't know that I agree entirely, Shy, and it could just be because my camera is entirely too close. The only thing I note that is different about this is that in the bottom of it, he's kind of mounted into this rock as opposed to having a post and then being put onto a plinth. I get it. It's entirely too massive for plinthing, but a lot of busts don't make sense without the rest of their body. I mean, the pieces of the model are in scale with itself. I don't know. I suppose you could see something like that. It's hard to tell. Everybody subjects their own thing. Let me catch up with chat. Fexus says, and you did not have a red beard. I tried to do something a little bit different. So I went with like the dirty blonde. There'll be red tones in here. It'll be a little strawberry. I want to put some red tones in and a lot more gray. Make him a little bit older. The Irish Leprechaun says his beard is huge. He looks like Gandalf, but better. Yeah, it's a pretty cool beard. It's pretty much the whole sculpt. Shy says, like, I'm not negging on it. Actually, quality of work is amazing. I'm purely saying it doesn't appeal to me. And explaining why. Yeah, and I'm not, I should say, I'm not arguing to that extent. I'm just trying to take a step back and try to stand where you're standing, kind of thing. Genuine says, you just wish it had a back plate. Oh, maybe that could do something. Oh my god, it'd have to be massive. You'd have to get a canvas. Where were we? Shy says exactly, my dwarves with fiddly, annoying back plates that make no sense. Uh-oh. Shy, you're not a fan of the backdrops? They're pretty popular with some quality artists. But I think, you know, it's all art. You gotta do what you like. And try not to be cynical when it comes to what other people like to do. Shy says, Chris, we're referencing a dwarf Blood Bowl team. Okay. I'm actually considering doing one for an upcoming piece. Your 2D work is always something I'm interested in. Zombie Dance Team Leader says, since you're from Pennsylvania, I've got a question in 2 parts. Is it statewide or just down Highway 81? Everyone from PA drives like speed demons. Don't you have cops, or do they not care? Well, Pennsylvania is a very interesting state. You have, on the east side, you have Philadelphia. And over here on the west side, we have Pittsburgh. And in the middle is Alabama. And it's, you know, once you get down 80, excuse me, things can kind of get away from you. There's just nothing out there. So what do you do? They do care. And you will get speeding tickets. but it is not as heavily policed as you might want. I-80 is kind of its own beast. That Mr. Shy says, basically these sculpts had a plate on them for the number transfer to be on. However, Games Workshop decided the plate itself needed to be a separate part of the sprue, which is unique to each dwarf and only locates correctly a certain way. There was zero reason to do that in that way. And it was super fiddly and annoying to assemble, so I got super tired on stream, and Jan loves to remind me. I can yeah, I can imagine how I would react to something like that, let alone if I was tired. Ugh. Just start telling it how you really feel. Okay. Uh-oh, we might get a visit from a cat here soon. Sorry, there's no good way to cut this angle here and still actually paint the thing. Whoopsies. Discord again. What are you all doing to me? Good to go. I suppose we do have a little bit more to do. $7:06 already. This might be our last Marine for the morning. We'll see how it goes. Got probably 20 minutes. 20-25. We'll let that dry and then hit it with a second coat. Let's see. Should probably stop painting everything with a size 3 brush. But Shai says, yeah, it was a unique encounter. G-Dub have a very interesting attitude towards sprue design. Those dyes are so expensive. But also they don't want to fall prey to the cake in a box issue. I don't know if you're familiar with that analogy or not. I'm happy to go into it, but also happy not to explain something that's already known. The Irish Leprechaun says, gotta go. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, for the follows, for the chat conversation. Hope you have an enjoyable morning or afternoon, whatever floats your time frame. Or time zone, I should say. Sorry about the failure in focus. Sorry, as I try to draw a straight line here, he has eyes. Let's see. Just applying this little by little over here. Trying to collect a little bit up in there. Ooh, that's not ideal. Then Mr. Shire says 6 deliveries checked off and put away in 23 minutes, and I'll take that. There you go. Being super productive out there. Let's see. See you across the top here. What's this? A cat. Come here, buddy. You gonna be social? Or you grumpy bear? Come on. You gonna say hi? This is Ollivander. He's a grumpy cat. He likes snuggles. Yeah, he's a good boy. Are you purring for the microphone? Yeah, he's a good boy. I will get you breakfast soon. He's probably concerned that I might forget him because my wife is not home. She's away for a wedding this weekend. And they know their routine's off. It's usually the little girl cat that's way more concerned with the food. She must be sleeping in today. No, buddy. Don't be grumpy. Shai says you leave him alone. He's beautiful. He is a tiny panther. He's not shiny. He's just very far away. He's an actual panther. He's a good cat. But yeah, that's one of my favorite cat pictures. It's like a picture of a panther on a log, and then black house cat on the back of the couch laying the same way. It's like they don't know that they're not, in their head. They just feel like we're really big. he's been he gets grumpy easy, and he hurt his hip some years ago, and so sometimes he'll hiss at his rear end. It's not his tail or anything. We've had him to the doctor a handful of times about it. He doesn't get aggressive about it. He sounds vicious is what he sounds like, because he is a bigger house cat. So when he hisses or gets distraught like that, it sounds kind of, if you're not ready for it, it sounds real scary. But even when he's like that, if you go up and pet on him or scratch his ears, he's just happy to have the affection. So I don't know to what degree he's actually in discomfort or if he has something else going on. The vets seem to think that it's just something that he's going to have to live with. Shy says, little Trev is still learning to hunt at the moment. He's super clumsy, thinks everything that moves is prey. Well, he's got to do his training exercises. Everything that moves is an opportunity to learn. The combination is pretty hilarious. Okay. Try to tidy this up just a little bit. Excuse me, I am sorry about the throat clearing. It's just where I'm at. Oh, you know what? Forgot that was up there. There we go. That's better. Shy says he'll butt wiggle, then pounce, then reach the target and realize he's made a mistake, try to reverse, fall over, walk away with his head down. Actually, once he gets a little bit more cognizant of it, he'll probably walk away with a look that says, never, ever speak of this. Cats are funny like that. Move that camera up, and now we're super out of focus. Shy says, we're excited for him to meet his first cucumber. Oh no, you wouldn't. They don't like that. I'm pretty sure they have like a, what is it, like their natural predator is like a snake. Is that why the cucumber terrifies them so much? Or is it just the fact that it arrived behind them and they didn't realize it got there? Shh, shh, shh. Buddy. Oh no. What's going on here? Somebody getting sick? Okay. Just because we talked about him a occasionally hissing at his rear end, he's decided to show up right beside me and do that. Probably mostly irritated that he doesn't have any breakfast yet. Alright. And with that, I think we've actually reached the end of productivity for the day. Shai says, knowing him, he'll not care just to disappoint us. That's funny. Just a little bit of rubbing alcohol. Put it in the bristles for a little bit. And then try to get some of the soap in here. Excel809, thank you so much for the follow. We're just reaching the tail end of the stream here, so we're going to be looking for someone to pass this party off to. Oops. This brush has been so well loved. My Series 7. Let's see who all is online here. Oh, there's somebody we can raid. I don't know if they're super chatty this morning, but let's take a peek here. We'll go see what Sick Creations is up to. Let's cut the music. All right. Everybody, have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Try to do something different. Enjoy your new year. Maintain your resolutions. And if I chat with you over the weekend, cool. And if I don't, hopefully you have a good one, and we'll catch you next week. Thank you for joining me, Shai. And everybody else that kept the chat rolling. It keeps me company, and yeah, I need that. All right, let's go see what Sick's working on. He makes some of the coolest grips and terrain in the game. We got Effect says thank you. Have a nice weekend. You as well. Everybody, yeah, stay classy. Catch up with you down the road.